Change is tough. Here's the proof. 30% of people say they wish they had the guts to do this. It's either get rid of their TV, quit their job, or end a toxic relationship. Jennifer had a stray dog following her as she walked home from work one day. And what happened right before she was going to shoo it away, I think is going to make you smile. Instead of saying sorry, you can say this to level up your life. And he is one of the most iconic Hollywood stars. And his secret to success is surprising. It's your daily joy scroll. That's coming up on The Good News Show with Andy, where I'm all about putting a smile on your face and hope in your heart.
The Good News Show with Andy.
The number of the day is
30% of people say, we wish we had the guts to do this. Get rid of their TV. I feel like this would be super hard to do. When my mom passed away a few years ago, my dad moved to a new place. I was trying to help him move everything in. I said, all right, well, where do you want the TV? And he goes, I don't think I want a TV. He's not had a TV at his house for a long time. And then I thought, well, what happens when we get there? And the kids, and they manage. They play toys. They run around. Believe it or not, I guess you don't need a TV to be entertained. We might be more entertained there. I think I'm in this 30%, maybe you are too, of people that say, I wish I had the guts to get rid of my TV.
I heard 5 years ago something that I never forgot, and it actually influenced me to get rid of my own TV. Talking about a survey that had been done asking people what their favorite memory was, and people would come up with things like the day that my dad and I went to the park and we had a picnic together, or sitting with my best friend when we were watching a sunset. You know, just weird little things like that.
That have nothing to do with staring at a screen for hours. And I'm saying that as a guy who stares at a screen for hours. 1 out of 3 people say, I wish I had the courage, the guts to get rid of my TV. We know it's bad for us, and it's bad for our kids too. So how do you handle that?
Now, when my kids watch TV, I watched with them to see what they were watching, and our TV took a nap sometimes during the day.
I hope this story makes you smile today.
Jennifer was just trying to get home after a long day when a big stray dog randomly followed her from the subway on her walk home. For about 6 blocks, he followed just a few paces behind Jennifer. And just as this began to kind of freak her out, a guy came out of nowhere and yelled, "Give me your purse!" Before she had a chance to react, that stray dog lunged at the man, bit his leg. The man dropped the knife and fell to the ground as she ran away, and Jennifer safely made it home because of that dog. Talking about being a peacemaker, good word from my friend. He said on social media recently that if the Bible talks about blessed are the peacemakers, what does that mean? Well, that peace doesn't just happen. It's not peace acceptors. It's not peace, peace receivers. It's peacemakers. We got to make it.
You are awesome.
They helped you learn what mattered most. They stayed patient when things got tough. And they never gave up on you, even when you wanted to give up on yourself. So if you're a teacher,
You are awesome.
it's going to happen. You're going to make mistakes, but how do you address it with other people? Here's a way to level up your life. Silas works in retail, and he says, if a customer's had to wait for a while, I won't say I'm sorry for the wait. Instead, I'll say something like, thank you for waiting. I appreciate your patience. That way you've complimented them, making them feel better and really diffusing the situation. Like if I said, thank you for your patience with me while I fail to speak correctly on the air and mess up playing songs, I appreciate your patience. See, now you're not so mad at me, right? For most 5th graders, recess is the best part of the school day, but for James, it was the worst. He already felt like an outsider since he was adopted from Colombia, but when you combine it with his special needs, it meant a lot of teasing. Until one classmate decided to stand up and get some friends to help too. They called themselves the James Gang. They started walking with him, playing with him, standing next to him every day at recess. And it didn't just stop at the school doors. They all chipped in their own money and bought him a PlayStation so he could feel included at home too. Now his mom says he can't even finish lunch fast enough because he's so excited to get back outside with his friends. A kid who once avoided the playground now has a whole team waiting for him. Life doesn't turn out the way you imagine. I thought that as I was sitting in the front row of my dad's church, seeing him get remarried. It's been about 2 years since my mom passed. And this is not the way I wanted my life to be. I'm sitting there thinking, I miss my mom. But as I welcome this incredible, God-fearing lady and her sweet family into my life, into my family's life, I have to accept that the past is the past. And then believe that God's ways are not our ways. And that even though I don't see it, I don't always understand it, his plan is better. It's not look good. It's not go to some fancy school. Denzel Washington shared his real reason for his success.
Put God first. Put God first in everything you do. Everything that you think you see in me, everything that I've accomplished, everything that you think I have, and I have a few things, everything that I have is by the grace of God. Understand that. It's a gift.
Just shared some great advice from Denzel Washington. He said this was the secret to his success.
Put God first.
Yeah, hi, this is Earl. Hey, just listening to you and you were saying we should do everything, of course, to God and for God. And if you really want to take it to heart, it'll put things in perspective. And that is, we need God. God doesn't need us. And you better remember that, because as soon as you start thinking you don't need God, that's when your troubles start.
Hi, my name is Lisa, and I'm on my way home. I'm a CPS social worker, and I just wanted to reach out because I had a pretty rough day. And so I'm wondering if you could just give me some encouragement and for me to decompress on my way home.
All right, got some encouragement coming up for you next, Lisa. And remember this, your tough day is making sure that other people can have a better life.
Absolutely, and those babies are safe.
Jesus honors bold faith. Like when he was walking on the water, one of his followers who was in a boat that Jesus was walking towards, he says, "Can I come out on the water?" And Jesus says, the craziest thing, he says, "Come." He knew that Peter would sink eventually, but he also knew that he would be right there to catch him. So Peter steps out anyway, not perfectly, but faithfully. And if you know the rest of the story, he looks around and sees the winds and the waves and gets worried and starts sinking. But I don't want to focus on that. I want to focus on the fact that he took that step on the water of faith. Because of that, he's the only person besides Jesus to ever walk on water. And there are things in your life right now that feel impossible. Maybe you're waiting until you feel ready or confident or perfect. But Jesus is not asking you to do any of that. He's not asking for perfect. He's asking for a step. Because even if you stumble, he's still there. And on the other side of that step, there is something miraculous waiting for you. If you're feeling overwhelmed by your emotions, I've had a lot of frustration lately, and it's all because I feel like I'm not using my time very well and I'm not being very productive. So whatever reason, whatever emotion is just kind of the main one for you, think about this. Instead of getting furious, get curious. Ask yourself this question: what else can this mean? And how might this be a good thing in disguise?